So, guys, I want to just give you a brief introduction to what I'm going to be speaking on when we're not having our presentations. Um, as I mentioned to him, we'll continue this next Thursday. We have a few more, but the topic itself that I'm dealing with is the topic of Messianic Jewish Christology and Messianic Jewish theology in general, but that is what I've been researching, Messianic Jewish Christology, particularly Christological aspects that are touched by Mark Hinzer, which is probably the foremost and most known theologian in America from a Messianic Jewish Christological point of view. He was the president of the Messianic Jewish Theological Institute in California. He's no longer there, but he's been writing and actively involved in writing. His dissertation was on Psalm 8, which was particularly interesting to me. The implications of Psalm 8 and how Psalm 8 was used repeatedly throughout the New Testament, and how what it stated in Psalm 8 permeates the theological mindset of apostolic writings. So you'll find documents like, for example, you find Johannine or Temple Christology. It's one of the papers that he wrote that it's incredible, and a few others. One, perhaps the most important book that he's written on Messianic Jewish theology itself, or the topic of Messianic Judaism, is post Messianic Jewish post Messianic Judaism, or post. I'm sorry if I can phrase it again. So the mission, post missionary Messianic Judaism, that is probably his most important work on that regard. But I'm touching on other aspects and other theologians as well. Gershom Narel is one of them. Is probably one of the most known theologians in Israel from this particular perspective. And I don't know what you guys know about Messianic Judaism. If you heard about it, if you are in touch with the topic itself, if you know of what they claim, if there's any differences of points of views here presently in the class. But just to begin, I want to give you a definition that's given by Richard Harvey. Richard Harvey, it's a Messianic Jewish theologian himself. He wrote a book known Mapping Messianic Jewish Theology in 2009, and it's perhaps the best condensed work that you can find out there that would explain not only the hermeneutics of Messianic Jewish theology, their eschatology, but also their Christology. There are 5 different views or Christological views within Messianic Judaism. I will touch on one of them, particularly in the next classes, if given the opportunity. But a definition that he gives is this. He says Messianic Judaism is the religion of Jewish people who believe in Jesus, Yeshua, the Hebrew term, as the promised Messiah. It is a Jewish form of Christianity and a Christian form of Judaism, challenging the boundaries and beliefs of both, of Christianity and Judaism. Does that spark your curiosity a little bit? Yeah? Yes. So, for example, Mark Hinzer speaks of, he coined this phrase, or this words. He speaks of bilateral ecclesiology. It's something that he believes Messianic Jews are called to adhere to. In other words, that a Messianic Jewish person who was born a Jew and who continues to be Jewish and holds to the basic tenets of what true Judaism is, biblically speaking, and who also understands that the Messiah is Jesus Christ and believes that he is the Son of God, will understand that he is both part of the church, and by being part of the church, meaning of the overall people of God, of which we find a great majority being Gentiles, but he's also part of the Jewish people. Therefore, he holds a bilateral ecclesiology. He belongs to the Jewish people and he belongs to the church. And he has a responsibility, or the Messianic Jewish people would have a responsibility toward the Jews to be a witness, or to be witnesses to the Jewish people about the true Messiah and the Son of God, Yeshua the Messiah, or Jesus Christ. But they also have a responsibility with the Gentile church to actually bring about a full understanding of the Jewishness of the Savior, and the understanding, for example, of the implications of Israel, or implications particularly on eschatology, that have to do with the Jewish people and the Gentiles coming together as a people of God. So this is truly fascinating, and I love it, as you can tell. So, for example, the term, Harvey says, the term Messianic Judaism was adopted in the 1970s, and is the preferred designation of those Jewish believers in Jesus who do not only assert their Jewish identity, but also actively engage in formation of Messianic Jewish fellowships and congregations themselves. What's interesting is that they adopted this language, and it says here they use Messianic Judaism instead of Hebrew Christianity, which was the first sort of a label that they carried during the 70s until they changed it in 1974, because there was certain tension over the theological and missiological aspects and identity issues within the Hebrew Christian allegiance in America. If you know, you guys know that part of the tension has to do with the fact that sadly, our history as Christians has been stained with the fact that that anti-Semitism has infiltrated the church throughout history. Okay, and it affected the way Christians viewed the Jewish people, and Christians viewed even eschatology, or certain aspects concerning the Jewish people and God, and whatever plan God would have with the Jewish people. And so they adopted this term, and understanding that Messiah is the Jewish, or at least the English term that would equate with Christ, and therefore Messianic Jewish people are Jewish people that adhere to the Messiah, understand that the Messiah is Christ, but also do not lose their identity and continue to carry out that identity. Messianic Judaism, for contemporary Messianic Jews, the term Jewish Christians was unacceptable at first. The label Christian, with its jarring overtones of Jewish people, of Christians as the other, or Christians using or speaking of Jewish people as that other people, and the legacy of Christian anti-Judaism was something that they took into account when they took another label in this case. Messianic Jewish movement is a renewed expression, this is another definition he gives, a renewed expression of Jewish Christianity of the early church. Messianic Jews construct a new social and religious identity that they express commonly in Messianic Jewish congregations and synagogues. And so I will delve into this subject if I'm able, and share with you a few insights and things that have been blessing me since I started this journey. And we'll continue on Thursday. Hopefully I won't have this issue again with the online thing. And thank you guys for being here. What's the time? 3:49? Sorry. We'll see you Thursday, okay? God bless you. Thank you, Brother Kim. Appreciate it.
Good question, just about.
Yes.
I guess there were three things. So in 1970, Before that, you said
Yes.
it's strange to talk about in the sense that obviously we only live 80, 100, 90 years or whatever. But these people that were, I think it's high birth, they really grew up in Jewish household, had like a